Hey guys, today I will bring a thriller film directed by Toby Wilkins, released in 2008. It is the movie Splinter. The story revolves around a couple and an escaped convict who are trapped in an isolated gas station by a voracious splinter parasite that transforms its still-living victims into deadly hosts. They must find a way to work together to survive this primal terror. The film is known for its intense scenes and innovative special effects that create a tense, claustrophobic atmosphere. Okay, without further ado, let's get to the point. The film opens at a desolate gas station. A slack-jawed and unsuspecting gas station attendant settled down to enjoy his favorite potato chips. Suddenly, an odd noise came from the grass behind him, catching his attention and sparking his curiosity. He decided to investigate, but was horrified by what he saw. Attempting to flee, he was swiftly attacked by a mysterious creature. Without even getting a clear look at the attacker, the attendant was tragically killed. Then, we saw a romantic couple, Polly Watt and her well-intentioned but clumsy boyfriend, Seth Belzer. They are on the way to a seemingly simple camping trip. As they were setting up their tent amidst the tranquil woods, their excitement was palpable. However, Seth's awkward handling of the tent poles results in a comedic yet frustrating mishap. Their only shelter for the night is now irreparably damaged. With the tent in tatters and nightfall approaching, the couple, disappointed yet adaptable, decides to abandon their plans for a night under the stars. They pack up their belongings and, with a mix of frustration and laughter at their predicament, head back to their car to find a place to stay. Resolved to make the best of the situation, Seth and Polly were driving to a nearby low-budget motel. Meanwhile, the narrative shifts to introduce a more sinister element in the story. Lacey, Belisle, and Farell, two criminals on the run, face their own set of challenges. Their escape car breaks down unexpectedly, leaving them stranded. With no other options, they are forced to continue on foot, their frustration mounting with each step along the desolate road leading to Platt. As fate would have it, Polly and Seth's paths intersect with those of the desperate criminals. Driving along the lonely road to the motel, Polly spots Lacey limping along the roadside. Being kind-hearted and unaware of the danger, Polly insists on stopping to offer help despite Seth's reservations. As Polly rolls down the window to ask if they need assistance, the scene tenses dramatically. The moment Polly's attention is diverted towards Lacey, Dennis emerges from the shadows with a menacing glare. He brandished a weapon, forcefully asserting their carjacking. The night that began with a simple camping trip spirals into a harrowing ordeal. Seth and Polly are rendered helpless as Dennis commandeers their vehicle, with Lacey quickly joining him. The couple is thrust into a terrifying situation. Their plans for a quiet weekend irrevocably turn into a struggle for survival. When the group was driving the car down the road, suddenly their car crashed violently, seemingly striking something. Upon exiting to inspect the damage, they discovered the tires were completely ruined. While replacing the tire, Dennis was painfully pricked by spikes, which he hastily removed. Stooping down, he noticed the same spikes blanketing the tires. Following a trail of blood, he and the others encountered the source of their troubles, a bizarre creature coated in spikes. Seth initially mistook the creature for a hedgehog. As a biologist, his interest was piqued, but as he moved closer for a better look, the creature suddenly stirred. Its vitality was astonishing. Without warning, it lunged at Seth. Terrified, Lacey fired several shots before quickly retreating, her panic spreading to the others. In their haste, they drove away, unaware that the spikes on their replaced tires were growing at an alarming rate. It wasn't long before they reached the gas station. Intending to refuel, they noticed the absence of the attendant and found the convenience store deserted. Lacey, needing to use the restroom, found the bathroom door jammed as if blocked by something inside. With some effort, she forced the door open, only to discover a ghastly sight: the body of the gas station worker covered in spikes, who had been killed earlier that day. Terrified, Lacey fled to warn the others. Initially skeptical, Dennis didn't believe her until the spike-covered zombie materialized before them, forcing them to confront the grim reality. Lacey was suddenly attacked. In response, Dennis quickly opened fire, providing a moment for the rest of the group to seek refuge in a nearby supermarket, where they swiftly locked the door behind them. Though the zombie was momentarily incapacitated, Lacey had been infected. Overwhelmed by grief, Dennis reacted harshly when Polly attempted to call for help, smashing the phone to the ground, driven by his identity as a robber fearing arrest. When Polly ignored his orders, Dennis concealed her to eliminate any witnesses and planned to steal the surveillance footage as well. Amidst this chaos, Dennis was shocked to find Lacey still showing signs of life. He instructed Seth to monitor the incapacitated zombie while he cautiously moved Lacey back to safety. However, as he attempted to enter the supermarket, he discovered that Polly had locked the door, seizing the opportunity to isolate the robbers. Enraged, Dennis drew his pistol, oblivious to Lacey's ongoing mutation behind him. Just as Lacey lunged at him, Seth managed to open the door and rescue Dennis, though a severed hand inadvertently came in with them. The severed hand moved independently, immediately capturing Seth's interest. Dennis quickly used an object to pin it down. Meanwhile, Lacey rose again, bizarrely pounding on the glass, causing them to fear it might shatter. They retreated into the warehouse, planning to escape the gas station through a back door, only to find a steel door behind it. Just then, the crashing noises ceased, and it seemed the zombies had moved to the roof. Seizing the moment to escape, the group was startled to find a police officer at the door upon turning around. Observing the blood, the officer mistakenly suspected them of robbery. The couple urgently tried to explain and warned the officer of the danger outside, urging her to return to her car. However, she was skeptical. Before the officer could call for backup, a zombie leaped from the roof. Spikes rained down, striking the officer in the face before she could react. Immediately, she was ripped, and her top half was dragged away by the zombies. Overwhelmed by the turn of events, hope faded to despair, and the three survivors were left in complete dismay. Dennis's finger, impaled by the spikes earlier, was gradually mutating, yet he chose to hide this fact. As the group felt increasingly cornered, Seth remembered the police walkie-talkie. He fashioned a makeshift hook from a coat hanger to retrieve it, hoping to summon assistance from other officers. However, he soon realized the hook wasn't long enough. Observing the dilemma, Dennis fetched more hangers, though his hand began to cramp at that moment. Polly noticed and questioned him, but Dennis dismissed it, claiming the coat hanger had cut him. With the additional hangers from Dennis, Seth successfully extended his reach to the walkie-talkie. Just as he was about to secure it, a zombie unpredictably plummeted from above, striking the walkie-talkie's wire. Fortunately, Seth's firm grip prevented it from being lost, though his forceful pull disconnected the device entirely. Suddenly, a zombie's hand smashed through the window. Polly retaliated with a bat, and as their situation became dire, they took refuge. The zombie cleverly split its arm, sending it into the supermarket. Believing the threat had momentarily subsided when the noises ceased, Polly peered out, only to see the severed hand approaching. Frozen with fear, they blocked the entrance with an iron frame. At this critical moment, Dennis emerged from the freezer, urging Polly to enter first. Seth then swiftly kicked the hand out and joined them inside. They thought they were safe, but Dennis's condition worsened, his hand seizing up once more. When they witnessed this, it became clear that Dennis was infected, his hand sprouting spikes and his fingers contorting grotesquely. Dennis's arm twisted a full 360 degrees in excruciating pain, prompting him to realize that amputating his arm was the only way to halt the virus's spread. The two men searched frantically and found only a pocket knife. As he was about to proceed with the grim task, the overwhelming pain caused Dennis to lose consciousness. Left with no other option, the couple proceeded to help him. After enduring intense agony, Dennis permanently lost his left arm, but fortunately, his life was spared. In the aftermath, facing the two who had saved him, Dennis shared his backstory. He revealed that he was a former inmate who had accidentally shot and killed a prison guard during an escape attempt, an incident he hadn't intended to be fatal. Consumed by guilt, Dennis had learned that the guard's wife had relocated to Mexico. He and his girlfriend had planned to bring her some money to make amends, but their car broke down en route. It was during this predicament that they encountered Seth and Polly, leading to their desperate decision to hijack their car. This revelation painted Dennis in a more sympathetic light, not as a hardened criminal, but as a man wrestling with remorse. As time passed, an eerie silence settled outside. It appeared that the zombies had finally abandoned their pursuit. Venturing outside, the trio noticed that the severed arm had vanished. Seth, observing the thermometer nearby, speculated a theory. Perhaps their survival was due to their time spent in the freezer, which lowered their body temperatures, making them invisible to the zombie's senses. Initially, when the zombie first appeared, it had attacked the car's hood rather than a person, lending some credibility to Seth's hypothesis. To test this theory, and in order to ask for help from other officers to the outside police vehicle, they used bags of ice to chill Seth's body temperature until it reached the lowest tolerable temperature. With the plan in place, Polly deployed a firework outside to distract the zombies as Seth made his way toward the police car to use the radio for help. However, the cold had stiffened his body, significantly slowing his movements. Polly continued to use fireworks to buy time. Eventually, Seth reached the police car, but as he was about to call for help, he noticed his body temperature was starting to rise again. Meanwhile, back in the house, the others noticed the absence of zombies. But just as the relief set in, a zombie abruptly appeared beside the police car, launching an attack on Seth inside the vehicle. Dennis emerged from the supermarket, wielding fireworks to divert the zombies. Unexpectedly, the fireworks fizzled out shortly after being thrown. The zombies surged toward him, and Dennis hurried back inside. However, the zombies' speed was alarmingly quick, and it followed him into the building. Fortunately, Polly acted swiftly to assist Dennis, and together they took refuge in a fridge. As they deliberated their next move, the zombie began relentlessly pounding on the fridge door. Meanwhile, Seth, armed with a shotgun retrieved from the police car, appeared outside. He fired several shots, all of which missed, but the distraction allowed them a moment to plan an escape. Dennis then took the shotgun, urging the others to flee while he covered their retreat. Despite his efforts, the zombie proved remarkably resilient, surviving multiple shots. As Dennis reloaded, he was unexpectedly stabbed by the zombie. Forced to retreat outside, he hurriedly reloaded the shotgun. With the zombie close on his heels, right next to the gas pump, Dennis made a decisive pull of the trigger. It appeared that fire was more effective than bullets. Following an explosion, the zombie was finally destroyed. As they prepared to leave, the two men noticed Dennis on the ground and rushed to check on him. Realizing he was infected and would soon transform, Dennis handed them the pendant he wore around his neck. Inside, they found the key to accessing the funds and the address of the policeman's widow, as Dennis expressed his last wish for them to fulfill this obligation on his behalf. They both vowed to do so. Watching them depart safely, Dennis made a resolute decision and fired at the gas station's fuel tank, causing the entire station to burst into flames. After the devastating explosion that consumes Dennis, the gas station, and the monstrous creature, Seth and Polly, shaken but alive, make their way into the darkness, away from the fiery wreckage that marks the end of their nightmarish ordeal. With the weight of Dennis's last wishes heavy on their minds, they tread through the quiet highway, each step taking them further from the chaos and closer to safety. However, as the movie draws to its conclusion, the camera pans away from the escaping couple and sweeps over the surrounding woods. In these final, eerie moments, it is ominously revealed that the forest holds more horrors yet unseen. Scattered throughout the underbrush, the dim light of night reveals several other corpses, each grotesquely contorted and infected, lying dormant yet menacing. This chilling revelation suggests that the threat of the Splinter infection is far from over, and that the nightmare that began at a small gas station could potentially spread beyond its fiery epicenter. Well, remember to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. I'll see you next time.